Sadistic Penguin Studios presents the At the Show podcast with Tom Yumper Garcia.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president.
And Tony Chalsa Burt.
I don't know this industry jargon, YP, MP, whatever, okay? All I know is that I cannot get a record contract. We cannot get a record contract unless I take these tapes.
It's almost time, so grab a drink, get your popcorn ready, and join the film discussion with two guys from Chicago talking movies.
Hello and welcome to an episode of the At the Show podcast presented to you by the Sadistic Penguin Studios. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tom Yumper Garcia, and I'm with my other co-host, Tony the Sugar Baggy Burt. How you doing, my man?
Doing good. Glad to be here. Glad to share this Friday night with you, my good man Yump.
Yes, it's been one hell of a night, but 2 weeks. We were supposed to go live 2 weeks ago, but I had an internet issue where my satellite for my Orbi just decided to stop working. So I had to order another one. It took a little bit for us to get here. And then last week I had to take off. That was a planned takeoff for us with dealing with some family stuff. But happy to be back. It's been a hell of a week for both of us at work. I know we're both overly tired, but we decided to switch up today, Tone. The format of the show, usually we do the 5 and 5s or in the old format, or we do a deep dive. Today, we're going to give everybody a glimpse of what we do on the mini show and pretty much explain that, Tone.
Yeah, I mean, what we're going to do is kind of bring you the At the Show mini show in the At the Show format tonight, and we're going to kind of stretch it out. We like to dive into different kind of news stories. It could range from anything in the entertainment world, from music, movies, maybe even sometimes a little bit of video games, which is always awesome to talk about. So it's something that we have been doing now for quite a few weeks, and just want to share it with you too. And it's a really cool thing to talk about on another side of the movies also.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to have some Oscar breakdown. I'm not going to go through all the films, every category, I mean, but we will have our predictions with the Oscars coming up on Sunday. And then we're going to close off the show with a tribute to probably one of the best character actors and lead actors in Gene Hackman, who passed away this week. So we'll be getting into all that today. So let's get ready to dive in, my man, with our first story of the day. And this actually has to do with the Oscars, and it has to do with one of the great, I guess, leading actors. Well, I don't guess, I know one of the greatest leading actors that we have of our generation, of my lifetime, of your lifetime. The great Denzel Washington was not nominated for his role in Gladiator 2. And Denzel was cool with it. He says, I've been around too long to care, basically. He joked saying he was very upset, but he continued, listen, I've been around too long. I'm getting wiser, working on taking less and learning more to understand more. And that's exciting. So Denzel doesn't really care. And this is a kind of a contradiction to the actress who was up for the Best Supporting Actress with Jamie Lee Curtis a few years ago for Wakanda, and she was still kind of bitter about it. Her name escapes me right now, Tone, for some reason. You know who she is. She was in What's Love Got to Do with It?
Oh, you're talking about Angela Bassett.
Yes, Angela Bassett was upset. She felt she should have won. I don't think that she should have won per se. I actually don't think that Jamie Lee Curtis should have won that. I thought the actress from Everything Everywhere All at Once, the daughter, should have won that. But it was crazy when Jamie Lee Curtis won. But she said that she still hasn't gotten over it. And here we have, Denzel, who's pound for pound one of the best actors. He only has one leading actor win in Training Day, and he only has one other Oscar for Glory in supporting. He's been nominated for 10 times, and he only has 2 wins, which most people don't get nominated more than once. But it's kind of crazy when you think of Denzel Washington, how many great movies he's been in, that he hasn't been nominated that many. Hasn't won that many nominations, but he seems to be taking it in stride. What do you think about this?
We were lucky enough to do a 5 and 5 on him, and we really broke down some of his classics back when Gladiator 2 was about to be released. And I had an opportunity to see it, and his performance was actually very awesome. He was awesome in it. Honestly, he was just, to me, one of the only things that was awesome about it. But you know what? I like somebody who's humble. I don't like people who just think it should be handed to them because they're up on it. Give it to someone else. Maybe this. That's a great movie that he brought up right there. James Marsden and Mark Wahlberg. Wow, what a classic. But you're back to what you were saying. Denzel just seems like a guy who doesn't care about that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, not at this point in his career, to say the least. Because I had talked about how he was upset earlier about the hurricane, but this is a different Denzel who I believe has gotten a lot of awards, and he knows too what this role was, and him not getting it, that's okay. I think he feels like, by what I was reading.
Yeah, I think he's humbled a lot as he's gotten older. People bring him up as one of the greatest actors of all time, which he deserves to be even, acknowledged with the others. But I think that as you get older, you kind of stop chasing those awards and just go for the roles that you feel, speak to you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of actors do go with that. I mean, you do have some of the older actors who are trying to get back into their, I guess their prime by taking those roles. But he doesn't seem like a person that's doing it. He likes to take roles that he speak to him and that he feels to have a good, script that he can portray that character. I mean, he's doing Othello on Broadway right now.
Yeah.
He great thespian. I really respect him for coming out and saying, "Yeah, hey, I didn't win, but it is what it is."
Yeah, it's you can't win them all.
Yeah, so I do like this fact that he came out and said, he doesn't. It is what it is. I don't really care. And I hope Angela Bassett does win for something else. I just didn't think she should have won for Wakanda. That's just me.
No.
But I thought she was very, very excellent in the film, and I thought she was the best part actually of Wakanda Forever. I didn't really like that movie, but I thought she was the best part of the whole movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, just kind of funny how they have these two kind of like contrasts of how they felt about their Oscar snubs.
Yeah, I mean, some people, again, they are. I deserve to have it because I put so much work in, and other people are like, let someone else have it.
Sam says it should be a new Oscar category: actors who don't give a fuck anymore. I'm gonna be honest with you. An actor who doesn't give a fuck anymore, like that would be Bruce Campbell. He considers himself a B level star, and I'm pretty sure he would win that award every year because he just does what he does for fun. But moving on, my friend, this story, when I read this, I did not understand why she was upset. And you're gonna correct me on her name, Marion Cotillard?
Yeah, I think that's how you could say it.
She's French, so I don't know how you Collier, thank you. Says she screwed up her awkward death scene in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. She says, The Dark Knight Rises. She says, I didn't nail that. Me personally, I watched this movie not too long ago, and I don't have a problem with her death scene. From reading this, people, Coltier, thank you, Sam. I'm horrible at pronunciations. I don't know if you guys know this, but apparently she said that she felt her, acting of it was kind of bland and just wasn't right for the scene. And of course, the people online, the trolls and the Batman guys, and just went after her. And I'm like, you went after her for that?
Batman guys, they could get real weird.
Yeah, this is the problem I have with fandom, and we had the same problem with Star Wars. We had the same problem with Marvel. It's just like, it's not that big of a deal, dude. I can understand if it was a complete, like, if you're doing Jared Leto Joker, or it's just bad, I can understand, but it was a one part of the scene where maybe she didn't act well enough. I thought she was okay. But, I mean, she's a award-winning actress. Like, what's the issue here?
For this movie, personally, I took a lot of flack because I actually enjoyed this one more than most. Than probably the other ones even
Dark,
too.
this is actually my favorite of the series. I like this
Oh
one better than
wow!
Dark
I
Knight.
was thinking I was stepping on going to be our fourth. I didn't want to. No, yeah, no. I'm right with you. And I took a lot of flack for that when it came out. I was really impressed with Hardy's performance. It is a humorous one. But again, it's back to it's been how long? And now you're coming out with it. I know back then you probably weren't going to say anything about it, but are we
Yeah,
just trying to make news with this story? I mean,
yeah, and it's came out. I guess she addressed it in 2016. I think the movie came out in 2012. I mean, was it the greatest acting scene? No, but I mean, you also have a guy dressed as a fucking bat. The part that makes you laugh about this film, Tone, is not that scene. It's that we're
I
supposed.
can I can name a couple. I think Interstellar's worse than this movie, and I think
I
his
don't
first
know.
movie, Following, is worse than this movie, and I think we can go on a couple.
I don't know, but the thing that makes me laugh is not the scene in the film, it's the fact that we're supposed to suspend belief that they put a statue of a guy in a bat suit.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
the I remember at the theater, I laughed because it just made me no matter how much I can suspend disbelief, it still
mhm.
cracked me up because I'm like, "Man, they're dedicating this statue to a guy in a bat suit." Like, it just made me
Yeah.
laugh.
Oh no, you're right. No, I
But
definitely
that's what
agree.
it is, it's supposed to suspend belief, and I mean,
Cartoon
she's
set.
talking to damn Christian Bale with his voice. I mean, Batman voice. Come on, yo. It's not that serious, guys.
For knocking. I love Interstellar though. That's how I would feel. I would
Sam
say
says, he's
Interstellar is
revoking
like,
his card.
you know what it is. It's that I think Interstellar is a very emotional movie, and I'm not ready to open up my emotions like that unless maybe I'm watching it with one of you guys. No, I
I
like.
love
I
I
think
love
it's good.
all of Nolan's films. Tenet, I had to watch a couple times just to get a grip understanding of it, but that's fine.
That's the
But
only one I have to watch. I haven't really sat down. I tried to, and I stopped. But I'll have
mhm.
to try again.
Yeah, it's one I had to get into a couple times just to get a full understanding of it, and that's fine because that's most of Nolan's films anyway, Memento, but for this film, like, I just think that, Marion, is just she's apologizing for some for something that needed to be apologized for.
Uh, I agree.
I loved her in Big Fish, by the way. She was great.
Oh, she is big, good in Big Fish too. It's a
Yeah.
good movie. Great movie.
Moving on, my friend, to our next story, we're going in to something that happened a while ago that we are supposed to talk about, but we just never got a chance to, is the Super Bowl, uh, movie trailers and that were released. So we have, Lilo and Stitch came out. The new Lilo and Stitch is coming out. He ran around the field like a fucking crazy guy. We
Oh,
got Grease Lightning coming out with the blockbuster F1.
ugh.
Megan 2.0, which I think the funny thing is the main character, this character's did that bitch is was what their tagline is. And one that I've heard a lot of people talk about that are very excited about is Thunderbolts, a new
Oh,
Marvel series coming out. We
mhm.
also saw Jurassic World Rebirth. A crazy Tom Cruise, he ran, surprisingly, and jumped on a plane, which I thought was crazy. We also saw the movie that was released, within the following weeks, the, Brave New World of Captain America. And then we saw, How to Train Your Dragon, my friend. Did any movie, like, really, really stick out to you of these, trailers that were during the Super Bowl?
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
No. None that made me want to say, "Oh man, I can't wait to get to the movie theater with you and see one of these movies." Now, I will see some of these movies. Um, I mean, I've already been told I'll be seeing Lilo and Stitch. I'll probably be seeing How to Train Your Dragon, which they look good. The Defenders look good. To be fair, which we're going to get to here in a little while, Captain America, looked good. I was excited to see the Red Hulk. I'm not a comic book guy, so the trailers are going to have to get me in the trailer for the Thunderbolts. Looks really good, but
Yes.
again, there's some comic book fatigue, which we're going to get to here in a little while, and I don't know yet. I'd like to see some reviews first on that one.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park is again interesting, but I don't know. I don't know how excited I am about it.
Yeah, Sam Reed says I will see one in theaters, and it's Thunderbolts. I've heard a lot of people tell me that they were very excited about it. I don't know the backstory of Thunderbolts, to be honest with you. Like, I read comics, but it was like later in life, and I don't remember reading about that, so I would have to go through it. To me, the only thing that really stuck out is the the Sinners trailer with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh yeah.
That's because it looked interesting. Uh, I really like the Mission Impossible films. Aloha, Mr. Hand
Yeah.
actually got me into them. I
They're good.
rewatched them from the beginning, but I don't think I'll go to the theater to see it. I'll probably wait till it comes out. I know that sounds horrible, but that's just me because I like to watch it in my own comfort. But
That's
that's
the
pretty much
one
all I'll
where
go
like
see.
I feel bad if I don't go because of the big effects on the big screen. I mean, like, but again, if you got a big screen at home and you don't mind that's okay too. It's just not enough. It's not honestly. I'd rather go see if all those movies were playing, and then that new monkey movie was playing. I'd say, can we go see that, Yum, please? Because that's the one I really want to see. The monkey paw or whatever, the new one.
The Monkey, yeah, I've heard mixed reactions on that one. I really want to go see it though.
But that's what I mean. Like, even with the mixed reactions, I'd be like, can I see that one instead of all these trailers? But it's because that's just where I think my mind is. Where the Mission Impossible, I do, that's it.
Yeah, in terms of Megan, I didn't care about the first Megan. F1, I I'm not really into racing movies. I love Ford versus Ferrari, but that's more than a racing movie. I remember
Good
Stallone
movie.
came out with Driver.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember that they were doing so many promotions here in Chicago for it on the Speedway for it. That movie was horrible.
I got an
Um,
argument with a kid in college about that movie
why?
because he said it was good, and I couldn't let it go for like 4 hours and how awful it was. And I think I should have let it go. It was stupid.
Oh my god, young Tony getting mad over
I
a
was like,
movie.
how could you say that movie is good? That movie's just so awful.
How to Train Your Dragon. I've never seen any of those films. When my son gets into them, I'll watch them.
Not
Uh,
bad.
as far as Lilo and Stitch, I saw the first one. My son's not really into them.
See, my
Only
daughter's been watching it every morning, which is cool because one of the voices in the cartoon is one of the kids in the hall from the comedy series. So they got some good voices in it. But again, why though? Like, the cartoon's so good. Is this really live action? Is this necessary? That's where I come with some of this. But
yeah,
I guess where there's an
said
audience.
I say really seeing it. And as far as Captain America, I asked my son if he wanted to go see it, and he's like, no. So, and he watches the Avengers. He's not into live action. He's just barely getting into it. Like, we watched Endgame a million times, but he's not into like live action Avengers yet. He likes the animated stuff more than he does the live action stuff. Besides Endgame, but yeah, I asked him if he want to go see it. He said, nah, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Also, use real dragons if it's live action. Shake my head. Yeah, that's why I didn't like Game of Thrones. They didn't use real dragons. But these are the movies that I like. I guess I'm not underwhelmed for this year so far. I'm looking forward to what's coming next. Maybe maybe something good will pop up. But the trailers didn't really do it for me.
I've always been just a really big. I like big tent movies like these, but I've always been like, where are the cool dramas? Where is the judge? You know what I mean? Where's some of these more intimate pictures that are awesome? Because the truth of the matter is, which we're going to get to later in some of the Oscar picks. We'll just get to it later, but we can continue.
Yeah. It's funny that Sam says Captain America was good when there's been a lot of reviews that are kind of crushing that one. Yeah, tell them like there's been people that have not given Captain America Brave New World a good review. What do you think about this?
Well, the one thing I'll speak with Sam is Sam reminds me of a guy that me and Sam could go see any movie, and in our right frame of mind, we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna find some good stuff. At the very least, that's what I think this movie is. Just by what I've seen. I'm again not a big comic book guy, so again it's got to be just is the movie exciting to me. Again, I'm not looking at Academy Award winner here. What I've heard are some of the complaints are things like too many plot lines going at the same time. But I like Boogie Nights, and there's like 7 going at the same time. So like, I'll have to see this for myself and be the judge. I was just really excited because Harrison Ford is in it, and I was excited to see his performance, and then him turning into Red Hulk. These were all things I was excited to see. So, but reviews are now the rage of something that can sink a movie. You know what I mean? A lot of people could come out and gang around and say the same thing.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't usually follow the reviews closely in terms of it's the end all be all. Especially, one thing I can show an example of that. People hated She-Hulk, the show. I actually enjoyed it. When I went on, I think it got a 5 from IMDb. When I went on IMDb, the fans gave 5, and they were shitting all over it. They're like, "It's not serious enough." I'm like, "Have you guys ever read She-Hulk? It's not a serious damn comic book. It's supposed to be breaking the fourth. It's like a different version of Deadpool. Basically, it's a female version." But um, looking at the reviews here on Rotten Tomatoes, 49% of the critics have said that the movie is fresh. Most of the consensus is that Anthony Mackie takes up Cap's mantle and shield, but Brave New World is too routine and overstuffed with uninteresting Easter eggs to feel like a worthy standalone adventure for this new Avengers leader. I think people are just getting, for critics wise, it's just maybe superhero fatigue.
I mean, but then again, that's what's worrisome is like, is it a good movie and people just have fatigue? Like me, who hasn't maybe watched a whole lot of these, if I sit down in the theater and watch it, am I going to feel that fatigue because I haven't really been watching a lot lately? Or is it, if you've been just watching, oh, let's sit down and binge watch all 70 in a row. And then when you get to this one, you're like, this is just like watching the other ones. I mean, that's just like anything else, though.
Yeah. And to counter that argument, 79% of the viewers or the audience, they have it as a 79% popcorn fresh with an average of 4 out of 5 stars. So a lot of the fans like it, but the critics don't like it. Now that could also be, critics are a little bit more trying to find the Oscar winning of Marvel films when they're not really Oscars winning films sometimes, besides the CGI or graphics that are in there. But even looking at IMDb, it's got 6.1 IMDb from fans. So it's about in the middle. I personally think I do want to see it because you have Giancarlo Esposito in there. I really liked him in Breaking Bad. Also liked him in Far Cry 6. He's a video game because he's a great actor. You have Harrison Ford in there. You have Danny Ramirez in there. So you have a good cast in this film to go along with Anthony Mackie, who I cannot see Anthony Mackie outside of Papa Doc from 8 Mile. That's all I see him as, and every time I see him, I laugh because he was Papa Doc in 8 Mile. But I did like, the transition or the passing of the torch from him to, Captain America. But with the new Avengers Doomsday coming out, there's rumors that Chris Evans was coming back. Now they're saying that he's not coming back, and then they're saying it's up in the air if he is going to come back. So I don't know how you bring him back since he was an old man.
Bring the old man back.
But I mean, maybe he's an alternate universe. But they're saying he's not going to be in Doomsday, but he could be in the sequel. He's happily retired. But I mean, come on, they're trying to bring back Scarlett Johansson as well. So you never know. I'm gonna give this one a chance. If it sucks, it sucks. But I mean, everybody loves the original Captain America. I didn't like it. I thought it was too boring to me. But I didn't think
it was cool. He could have been in it more.
I didn't like it as much. But I mean, I'll give this one a try, see how it is.
But then the next one, what was the next one?
Winter Soldier, which I thought was good.
A lot of people think that's the best, one of the better Marvel movies as a whole. So it's
then Civil War came out. which I like that one too. But I just didn't like it wasn't. I just think that Captain America, the original, just dragged a little bit. That's all. But I know what they were going for. They were trying to set the story for him, but I think it dragged a little bit. Hugo Weaving was awesome, and he just got tired of playing,
Red Skull.
yeah, just tired of playing the characters and franchises. He just wanted to take a break, which is crazy because if you think about it, he was in the Matrix franchise, Lord of the Rings franchise, and then he would have been in Marvel's franchise. So that's 3 big franchises. He's kinda up there with, Samuel L. Jackson, who was in the Star Wars franchise to go along with
He
Marvel.
was.
But, yeah, if you've seen Captain America, let us know what you guys think. I haven't watched it, but the reviews are mixed per se from the critics and mostly positive from the viewers. So hopefully, it kinda turns out good when I watch it and I enjoy it. Also, a big shout out to, Harrison Ford for turning into, Red Hulk there.
Yes.
Moving on to a topic that is right up your alley, my friend. The 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations were given out, including Mariah Carey, Chubby Checker, Cyndi Lauper, Outkast, Fish, that are coming out now for this role. You also, I believe, have um, Wrecking Crew that was nominated. That's a one that's been going on Twitter when I was on there for them. But I think it's pretty crazy that these people have been nominated for, you know, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Billy Idol's also on there.
Yep.
Like I always was confused because I always thought you had to be together for 25 years or perform for 25 years, but I guess you don't.
So
Mana is on
who
there.
hasn't performed for 25 years on the list?
I thought Billy Idol kind of like stopped in the
Well,
early
no, it's
90s.
when you started. It's just when you started.
Oh, okay. So you and like the White Stripes, I know they weren't together for 25 years.
It's not you have to be together for 25 years. It would be like me and you start this podcast, and then they give a podcast Hall of Fame 25 years from now, but we stopped, but we did it 25 years ago. We're eligible.
Okay. So here
Yep.
are the nominees. We have Billy Idol, Chubby Checker, Bad Company. I said Wrecking Crew. Mana, The Black Crowes, Oasis, Mariah Carey, Outkast, Soundgarden, Fish, Joy Division / New Order, Joe Cocker, The White Stripes, and Cyndi Lauper. Who are your favorites right there, Tone?
Who have I listened to the most?
Yeah.
I would say, I've listened to a lot of these guys the most. I heard that there was a certain people out there looking for someone to write an article about Bad Company. I love Bad Company is one of my favorite bands. Black Crowes are one of my favorite bands. My mom used to play Mariah Carey all the time. Chubby Checker's a legend. Joe Cocker is amazing, especially his live album from 1969. Billy Idol is great. Most recently, Joy Division and New Order, I've listened to quite a lot. I can't get Cyndi Lauper out of my head recently. That song, Time After Time, it's always on the radio and I can't get it out of my head. I'm very curious about Manya. I've heard a lot of good things about them. Oasis, I actually like Oasis a lot. I wish I had the money to see them at Soldier Field or the time because I don't. Outkast, amazing. Fish, also playing 3 shows at the United Center, amazing. Soundgarden, one of the best ever. And the White Stripes, Jack White's great. So it's tough for me. But the question always comes is like artists like Mariah Carey, should they be on the list? Or should they be on like a pop Hall of Fame list?
There isn't no pop Hall of Fame. That's a problem. But in terms
but
of
when they started this, they never said that down the line we're gonna have.
But you can say the same thing about Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah, but Cyndi Lauper has been involved in was rock. There was guitars and she was involved on MTV, and there's just so much more. Mariah Carey was involved with MTV, but Mariah Carey is one of the greatest pop stars of all time. You got to put her somewhere. So that's what it is. It's I got to put her somewhere. When the reality is shouldn't there have been a Hall of Fame for those artists too? Because that's the
Yeah.
argument here. Because a lot of these artists should have been in there a while ago.
Have either of you been to the Hall of Fame? No, I have not. I believe it's in Cincinnati?
Hi,
Cleveland, Cleveland. Yeah, okay.
I had scheduled to go right before the whole COVID hit, and then we had to cancel the trip. But I still would love to go and look around. I bet it's amazing.
That'd be a cool spot to go to.
It would be.
So me personally, out of this list, if I had to pick 5 people I think should make it in, Mariah Carey probably be there because you just said she's the queen of pop.
Yeah.
Mana,
Well,
I think should be in there because
I'll argue your points when you're done. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, Mana, I think should be in there. One of the top Spanish alternative rock groups. They kind of transitioned into some English stuff with Corazon Espinado with Carlos Santana, but they're like one of my favorite Spanish rock groups to listen to. I know they have a big following. Chubby Checker, just for the fact that the Twist is probably one of the biggest songs ever made. That was out during the time. It got even a mention in "We Didn't Start the Fire." That's how big it was iconic for its time. Cyndi Lauper should be there. Like you said, she was like one of the first top people to do MTV. She also was like one when I think of top stars from the 80s, it's always Cyndi Lauper and Madonna from the 80s. I always think of female stars and Pat Benatar because Cyndi Lauper was always on MTV. She was like cross-culturing into wrestling. Like she also had Time After Time, She Bop, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Those were like her big hits. And then finally, Soundgarden. I think Chris Cornell should get his flowers. One of the greatest vocalists that doesn't get enough attention in Chris Cornell. And I think he should be in there. If I had to pick another 2 just to make it 7, because usually 7 get in, it would probably be Black Crowes. And it's up between Billy Idol and New Order. And the reason it's between them is because New Order kind of set the techno electronic music for me when I was younger. And a lot of people they've been sampled so many times. But Billy Idol is Billy. So I don't know. But what do you think?
I think some of your picks a lot of them are personal. Like you're picking them from a personal feeling, which is understandable. But that's not how the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame votes. Like a band like Bad Company, I mean, they were the 70s. They were the only other band that was on Led Zeppelin's record label besides themselves. You can say Soundgarden, and I agree with you with Soundgarden, but Oasis was around that same time too, and they kind of started their own movement, and it was pretty big. I would think Oasis should be there before Mariah Carey, or Cyndi Lauper, but that's just because Mariah Carey isn't playing Soldier Field this summer. Oasis is playing 2 sold-out shows there, so like to me, cultural impact has an effect on this also, which Mariah Carey does have one, but. Again, Chubby Checker should have been there a long time ago. Joe Cocker should have been there a long time ago. Billy Idol should have been there a long time ago. Joy Division and New Order should be there before Mania a long ways because, again, whatever it is, because of their start to, I mean, there ain't no Killers if there ain't no Joy Division. There ain't no any of the rock from all of that. But that's what it all is. It's all you could talk about. And that's what I've heard. And my alluding earlier was on the 108 podcast. The guys were saying, I don't understand how anyone could like Bad Company, or I didn't know anyone liked Bad Company. Well, again, that's just a bunch of people in a room saying that, but Bad Company sold a lot of records. So again, it all really depends. And it really all depends on who are they going to vote into. It's kind of an odd, an odd thing.
Speaking of that, in terms of the fan vote, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has a fan vote, and as of the 26th of February, today's the 28th, the first place band that is leading this, can you guess?
No.
It's Phish.
Oh.
Phish is number 1 with 137,000 votes, while number 2 is Billy Idol with 55,000. So Phish is... And that kind of makes sense because I know a lot of Phish heads.
Do you know who won last year's?
Whose?
It was Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah, I said
So
that kind of makes sense because a lot of people jam out to the.
well, they got a big, huge live following where a
Mhm.
lot of these other artists don't have that live following anymore. I mean, a lot of these, me and you could talk about Chubby Checker and his relevance, but
Also, I think you don't give Mana enough credit. They've been around since '86, so they've been
oh,
around a long time.
they are honestly, they would be in my top 5 because I like to have a eclectic pick. So I need to get that out there. And they're also, out of all these artists, the one that intrigues me the most because honestly, it was like a couple years ago, they had like 5 sold out shows at the United Center. And I was like, who are these guys? And because anybody who sells out the United Center to me, it's like, who is that? And doing it 5 nights in a row. So those guys are, to me, should definitely be there. It's just unfortunate that like the Mariah Carey has to be on the list too, because the more than likely, if those two were up, Mariah Carey would get in over the other guys.
Yeah, and that's kind of
That's the
unfortunate
sting.
because it's more of a, I think, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, although it tries to be universal, or I
That's
guess
it too.
it's
That's
kind of
it.
hard because I misspoke. They've been around since '81, but I don't
It's how
know.
you know. It's always fun to see who they pick. There isn't a year that's gone by that I haven't enjoyed watching the show or watching the live performances, the big jam sessions. If Outkast were to get in, would they reunite, do some songs together? Soundgarden, I just heard yesterday that there might be some songs laying around with Cornell's vocals on them. An album possibly could be released. You know, you just don't know. I like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because sometimes it opens the doors for some reunions. You know, just don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna be kind of cool to see who gets in.
Mhm.
We just gotta wait and look. Well, wait and see. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. You're the music guy. I'm more of a, I listen. I have my. I don't listen to
Oh,
the radio anymore.
you got great musical taste. Don't let anybody fool you. You got good taste.
It's kind of crazy because I volunteer with the Masonic, or like the Masons,
Mhm.
and we sponsor a academic bowl every year. This year was at Sandburg High School, and I went to that uh, on a Saturday, and they were giving all these, academic bowl questions, and they started giving stuff from music from 2017 with pop, and I had no idea who the hell they were. Like the kid that was answering them all, he knew the
You
producer,
knew what they were.
and I'm like I'm not talking. I know who Billie Eilish is. It was like I don't even know who the person was. That's how I was like, who? Oh, yeah, I'm completely lost on that. So that's my fault for not listening to the radio anymore. And I think it's the radio, mainstream radio in Chicago. They play the same song over and over again. I get tired of it. So I just rather listen to my iPod or my iPod, my iPhone.
If you haven't, then I can only make so many suggestions because it's the only radio station in Chicago that does not do that. It's WXRT. They play all the songs that you actually send me a lot of the times, and they don't play them on repeat. And it's kind of exciting because, as you stated, you turn on a lot of other stations, like you turn on B96, you won't even hear Mariah Carey anymore because it's just the same 5 new songs. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then they just keep playing the songs. It becomes annoying.
Yeah, and how do they still do the DJ stuff on BI6?
It's been a long time since I've actually turned it on the dial.
Yeah, I don't. If somebody knows, let me know. I used to listen to them. They used to. I think it used to be Friday nights at 9. They used to have people spin. That's where like Tim Spin and Shomer, Bad Boy Bill, Too Cool Chris. They got, they didn't get their break there, but Jillian Jump Perez used to host with Candy, and they used to do. That's her name, Candy. She's on. I think she's on 103.5 now. But they used to host, and they used to like have local DJs. They used to spin it to be the hour free, commercial free. And they used to have them. So that's why I listen to a lot of house music. But I don't think they'll do it anymore. Like that's kind of music I would like wish would make a comeback, but it's not really making a comeback. But moving on from our music talk, we're gonna go into something that I thought was kind of cool, man. So this is an article from the Wrap. It says female leads finally hit parity with men in top grossing films of 2024. So what that means is According to USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiative latest report, which assesses gender, race, ethnicity, and age of the leading and co-leading actors for each movie from 1,800 top grossing films from 2007 to 2024, female leads finally hit parity, at least as far as the representation goes. Uh, so Universal Pictures notched the highest percentage of female leads and co-leads coming in at 66.7%. They were followed by Warner Brothers at 55.6% and Lionsgate at 54.5%. This is showing that female actresses and supporting actresses are the trend right now, and I think that's awesome, including number one movies like Inside Out 2, Wicked. Those were films that came out that gross a lot of money and had female leads in them. What do you think about this new trend?
I think it's great. I think the trend should have been a long time ago. I mean, if you're telling me that Glenn Close didn't make more money than Michael Douglas on Fatal Attraction, or Diane Keaton didn't make more money than James Caan in The Godfather, like roles where the women actually had a little bit bigger of a role or a longer of a role, it's disappointing that they wouldn't have had that equal pay. So to hear this and to see their films grossing and such great things, it's awesome. It's, and likewise, that's probably, people want fresh content, I mean, that's probably why too. And the females are delivering the fresh.
Yeah, and this report is actually really, really interesting. I can drop it in the notes when we put it on the page. But like just one little thing here. Women aged 45 and older are rarely shown as leads. The top 100 grossing films in 2024, the number with leads, co-leads, and age 45 and older. 8 is a number of films that with a woman age 45 and older in a lead or co-lead role. 21 number of films with a man age 45 and a lead or co-lead role. So it looks like older men kind of get the lead roles there. It's this is a it's very interesting to see the studies here. 54 out of 1,800 films were with women in leads, and Sony came up short with 38% of the 100 top films this year with a female lead. So 38% of their films were there, which Sony need to pick up their game, man. They can't keep using Spider-Man. But I think it's awesome. I like diversity. I like creating new stars, male or female. And there are a lot of good female actresses out there. Sam says female lead films pass. But I do like female led films.
See,
I think of a what?
okay.
No,
We talk
brother.
a lot about like one of our favorite genres is like the gangster movie films. You know what I mean? And one of my favorite ones in the last 6-7 years, it was called Widows. It's an all-female led cast. It's a mob movie. It stars actually Wicked's Cynthia. How do you pronounce her last name?
You're asking the wrong person.
Uh,
You're totally asking the wrong person.
but it's really actually great.
Arrivo?
Yeah, Liam Neeson's in it too. Colin Farrell, Daniel Kaluuya. But if you like a good mob movie, but it's a female-led film, and it's great. She's a great actress. Everything that I've seen her in is really, really good. So I have yet to see Wicked. Okay, so but I don't know if you've seen Bad Times at the El Royale. She's great in that movie. That's a really awesome movie. All pretty much female-led films because of her. I mean, she's a great actress, and I think great actresses should lead films and they should be successful.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a transition period too. I hope, Cynthia leads more of those films going forward, with her star. Amy Adams kind of was the girl on top for a little bit, the female on top, lead on top for in roles. And I think she's excellent as well. And I hope Cynthia picks up, from her, passes that torch and keeps going. Because growing up, we had, Hilary Swank, two-time Oscar winner for Boys Don't Cry, $1 Million Baby. And then you also had Charlize Theron for Monster. You,
This guy.
Glengarry Gross is my favorite female rose. I love that film, Sam. So
Great,
was my brother.
great film, female-led film. Great female-led.
Yes. You had Girl Interrupted, which is a great film with Angelina Jolie, Winona Ryder. You know, though, and then Julia Roberts with Aaron Brockovich, Sleeping with the Enemy, Pretty Woman. You know, she was like the top,
Love those movies,
and then she kind of slowed down a little bit. So I do like that females are coming back, and because it's good to have variety and
Oh, yeah.
things, create new stars. Uh, so it's nice that there are a more female lead roles. I'm all for it.
Me too.
But that's some good news, man, in the film industry. I will drop that link to the report done in our notes, so be sure to check that out. This is a touchy subject for you, Tone. Masters of the Universe, James Purefoy, Charlotte Riley are cast as He-Man's parents. They've come out as King Randor and Queen Marlena for Amazon's MGM Studios and Mattel Films' Masters of the Universe. This film is going to be directed by Travis Knight. What do you think about this film, man?
It could be really cool. It could be really bad. You know, I mean, think of when you hear there's going to be a Speed Racer movie. Now, you might like that movie. I could be knocking it, but when it came out, it didn't pan out the way I think that they wanted it to. So it's, again, is that what we're going to get here?
John Goodman was good in that movie. That's Pop.
What'd you say?
John Goodman was good as Pop.
But again, you just really don't know what are you getting involved with this new movie. You know what I mean? Is it going to be good? Is it not going to be good?
Don't get me wrong.
Bad?
The original, yeah, the original Masters of the Universe was not an Oscar-worthy film. I was a huge Masters of the Universe kid. You know, I had the He-Man sword. I had all the toys. I had the hell's his name? The furry guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, he's out in the garage. I got him.
I got him wet and he got moldy. My mom had to throw him away. So I love the film, and there was supposed to be a sequel, which I always draw back. That when they canceled it, they used sets for that for another one of my favorite horrible films, Cyborg with Jean-Claude Van Damme. But you know, it wasn't supposed to be a Oscar-winning film, but it was enjoyable, and I hope, you know, the new film they come out with as live action is just going to be just as good. It's just nostalgia of it is kind of cool. I mean, I'm not all for remakes, but I will be okay with these ones because they weren't really done as much, if you know what I mean.
I guess what worries me is like, is there an audience asking for this and all this money going into this? And then is it going to make that money back? That's always the question.
Well, they did have films come out on TV series called Revelation and Revolution that were animated. So maybe they were asking for, you know, movies to come out. I would love to see Dolph Lundgren just make an appearance in it just to make me laugh. But I mean, I guess there has to be. I mean,
Can Frank Langella come back and play Skeletor?
Is Frank Langella still alive?
I don't think. Is he?
If he's dead, I mean, please don't be dead, Frank.
Well, they're doing this thing now, man, where they're bringing back a lot of people digitally.
Yeah, but Frank don't want to do that. Man, he's still alive, thank God. But he's also 87 years old, so I don't know if he can be the Skeletor. But him as a small role would be kind of cool.
It would be.
I think that'd be kind of funny. I'll see it. I'll watch it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't hate on it. I'll see it. You know what I mean? It doesn't bother me at all. One thing I want to throw in here, though, Tone. We're talking about all these remakes and reboots. Some news came out. I know you don't have a slide for this, but some news came out recently that the Constantine 2 script is going to be written. There was an idea pitched by Keanu Reeves and the original director, and they are writing a script right now to get it made. Now, Keanu Reeves has come out and said that he has been pushing for a remake for so long for the film because he really, really liked the original. people now, hardcore Constantine DC fans are kind of a little upset with it because of Constantine is from England, and in the show he's from America, and also there's a lot of different things, characteristics. Matt Ryan probably plays the closest to Constantine in terms of the series of how he really looks. I love Keanu Reeves' take on it, to be honest with you. But I know a lot of people didn't. But I really want to see this new film. I want to see the Constantine 2 and see hopefully it becomes a series and Keanu's been making hits and going from there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm all for it. Keanu's been on a roll lately. I think it could be really good. Hopefully better than that last Matrix.
Constantine is a Star Wars crossover. Thank you, Jack. Sam brings up another good point. John Lithgow was cast as Dumbledore in a new Harry Potter.
That's pretty interesting and going to be pretty awesome, I think. John Lithgow is pretty awesome. Anything he touches.
My wife says not for remakes, but you still made me sit through Halloween Ends. Halloween Ends was horrible. Chainsaw the Massacre. Nosferatu was good. Hellraiser. Oh, we did see Hellraiser. I'd see a Canoe remake. We call Keanu Canoe. Sam says John Wick 5. No, Constantine 2 is John Wick 5. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
He goes around just shooting the shit out of demons. I'm down for that. But the remakes, they're hit or miss. I'm not a big fan of. The thing that bothers me is when there's a big hit and it can't be done, and then they want to make a remake of it. Like a cult classic like The Crow, and then they made a remake. Have you seen The New Crow? It's out.
No, I haven't.
Okay, there's no point in watching it. But
I can't watch it, no.
Watch Wicked Prayer instead. But
Yeah.
but that's what bothers me. That's just me. But like I said, my opinion isn't end all be all. It's just the way I feel. One cool thing though going down is that Green Day is coming out with a coming of age comedy. New Year's Rev is in works at Live Nation Productions. So Live Nation is teaming up with Green Day to write a comedy called New Year's Rev, which will be written and directed by Lee Kirk, with production underway in Oklahoma. The film will star Mason Toms, Kyler Coffin, and Ryan Faust as a trio of friends who mistakenly think they have been chosen as Green Day's opening act and head off on a road trip to Los Angeles to make it there for the New Year's Eve show. The Office alums Angela Kinsley and Jenna Fisher, the latter of whom is Kirk's wife, will also appear in the film with Ignacio Diaz Silvero and Keen Ruffalo. What do you think about this, man?
It sounds familiar, like you've seen it before, but then again,
Detroit Rock City.
That's honestly, as soon as you started talking, that's the first thing I thought about. But maybe it could be done. I would hope that Green Day is more original than just copying something else. So maybe it could be cool. I don't like when they use terms coming of age story. I mean, how many coming of age stories do you, just make it a story. It's a coming of age story. Like they're opening up for Green Day. Again, this falls a little bit below some of those trailers that we were talking about earlier. I'm not excited. It's lukewarm. If it's on Amazon Prime for free, I'll check it out.
Should have been called American Idiots. Now, Sam, you say that it should have been called American Idiots. They had a Broadway show for American Idiot that ran for a while. I will always think of Billy Joel Armstrong from this film called This Is 40, a Judd Apatow film. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that with Paul Rudd?
Yes.
When he goes to see The Rumor, and Paul Rudd struggling to get publicity. He's like, "Why'd you tell people that Billy Joel's here?" And he's like, "Oh, he just wants to come see the film, the band, just for the musical stuff. He doesn't want to be press here." And his buddy's like, "Oh, come on, Billy Joel, shame on you." And he's like, "Shut the fuck up, nerd." It's just that part always makes me laugh from that aspect of it. But I probably won't watch this unless it's on Prime. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest with you, Tone. I'm sorry if I let you down
Well,
on that
I was
one.
gonna be more honest with you. I probably
Mm.
won't even watch it if it's on Prime, unless something really comes out in like, wow, a lot of people are like, this is good. This is a good movie. Then I'll check it out. But man, I got two other movies I haven't gotten to that this is even gonna be below that. So
Yeah, I I probably won't watch it, man.
I mean, I'm gonna be
Sam.
really this is gonna be really it's gonna be really kind of awful. If you were like, Tone, I got free tickets to Wrigley Field to see Green Day. You busy Saturday? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm tired and I can't make it to Wrigley. Even if you're like, okay, Tone, Tinley Park, I may consider it because it's only about 25 minutes
I
away
will.
and easy out of the. But now we're talking about a movie. I don't know. I just don't know.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't go see Green Day. I think they're good, uh,
I
but
thought they were good. I think that they are there's a period of their career where they're really, really good. And we're not just talking about I just mean that they're starting to get into a territory where it isn't what they usually stood for. And now we're talking about movies. It kind of reminds me of Spaceballs, what is it, like all the stuff that he's selling,
yeah.
like Kiss. It's like Kiss almost.
How dare you talk about kids?
I love
It
Kiss too,
no,
but this is Kiss. This is Green Day.
Sam says they put on a good show, but they play like a 3-hour set. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a big Green Day fan. I mean, like I said, I respect their music. I don't know. They have their to each their own, I guess.
They're good
I
song.
never really got into Green Day, but that is a little sneak preview of the mini show. We'll be talking about stuff like this. We'll be talking about video games. We'll be talking about movies, TV shows. We just wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of what goes on when we have our mini shows. Usually, those episodes are about 30 minutes long, sometimes up to 35 minutes. We keep them short and we don't do them live. We just release them on the Statistic Penguin Studios YouTube channel. So that's something you like. You like a small condensed version of us just BSing around what's going on in the entertainment world. Join us there to watch those shows. Tone, we haven't talked on air anyway for about 2 weeks, but this weekend is probably one of the biggest nights, well, the biggest night in the film industry, and that's the 2025 Oscars. We're going to go through some of our Oscar predictions here. We're not going to go through every category, but we're going to start off with the category of supporting actress, and I'm going to name the nominees here. Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. Who do you think is going to win this one?
From all the research and everything of what I've seen, I think it'd be cool if it's back to that thing, like someone like Isabella Rossellini. She's been around for a long time. You know what I mean? She could win it. I don't know about Ariana Grande, but then again, I've already let the cat out of the bag. I haven't seen Wicked. Felicity Jones, she's always good. I love Zoe Saldana. Um, you know, I'll go with I'll go with Isabella Rossellini because honestly, this is the movie that I've enjoyed probably the most out of all the movies that are being nominated.
Yeah, I thought that's my pick. I think she was excellent in Conclave. Conclave is a very, very powerful film. I really enjoyed that. My mom was pushing Conclave. My mom's what got me into movies. Like she's like me and my brother. She's our inspiration, or the person that got us into films, mostly horror films, but films in general. And when she told me you have to see Conclave, it's really, really good, and I saw it. It was very, very good. I thought she was excellent in the film. I thought Emilia Perez.
Speaking of John Lithgow too, he was great in that movie.
Yes. But speaking of like other nominees, Zolda Sol Saldana was very good, and Emilia Perez, I think she's like a close second. I also liked Monica Barbaro in A Complete Unknown. I'm not a big biopic person. I thought that was an okay film. I know our friend Mr. Han loved it. It was kind of crazy that we talked about Jamie Lee Curtis winning for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and probably her best role was The Last Showgirl, and she wasn't nominated, which is kind of crazy. Pamela Anderson also wasn't nominated, which is another thing. But I would have to go with Isabella Rossellini with you, so we can agree on this one for her.
All right.
Moving on to Best Supporting Actor. Since we do Best Actress, we're going to go with Best Supporting Actor here. We have Yura Borsov for Honora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. Who do you think is going to win this one?
You mean Kieran Culkin's performance was amazing. You know, the only movie again, but so as Guy Pearce did a great job in The Brutalist. I can't get over Edward Norton's like bald cap that he had to wear for A Complete Unknown. So we're gonna put him off to the side. Jeremy Strong, ridiculous performance in The Apprentice. You know what? I'll go with Kieran Culkin. I enjoyed his performance. I know probably Guy Pearce is probably going to win, maybe, but I like Kieran's performance.
Yeah, so Kieran is everybody's darling right now. You know, he was on I loved him in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Mhm.
I always thought he was funny, but he's a darling right now with films. I mean, he was the film that he's nominated for, I believe, was written by the guy who did Social Network, right?
Yes. Well, he's in Social Network. I mean, you talking about Jesse Eisenberg?
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg. He directed.
Yes.
He directed the film that he's nominated for.
Yes.
And I thought he was very, very good in it. Usually, it's kind of unfortunate that films like that, and even The Apprentice, they get nominated. They only have one nomination for it. You know, I think Kieran Culkin. This is the year of Kieran Culkin. I think he should win. I'm hoping he wins, so they can say Culkin has won a Academy Award.
Have you ever seen Igby Goes Down?
No.
That's a pretty good Kieran Culkin movie from 2002. It's got a lot of people in it. Goldblum's in it, Susan Sarandon, Bill Pullman. He does a really good job. He's a really good actor, and he deserves to be nominated.
Yeah, and like I said, it's like the year of Kieran.
But I love Guy Pearce though too. Guy Pearce has put in probably better performances than Kieran has. I mean, LA Confidential, Prometheus.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I will be happy with anybody winning, and I like Jeremy Strong. Besides Jeremy Strong, and the reason being is has nothing to do with Jeremy Strong. It has to do with the movie is about, and I know a certain person will fucking boast on this because he has nothing better to do besides running our country. That's the reason I want somebody else to win besides Jeremy Strong. That's just my personal opinion. But
all right,
Kieran Culkin, I think, is my top dog for that. But he has excellent. Everybody in here deserves at least it has its chance. So this is kind of up for grabs. But I just think the momentum's kind of pulling towards Kieran in terms of how people like he won for Succession. He's kind of coming up and coming, and he's really showing his acting chops, which I think is kind of cool. But I won't be upset if Jeremy Strong wins. I won't really be upset, but I'll be like, damn it. No! But it's gonna be interesting, man. Moving on, let's go on to Best Actress award here, Tom. We have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Cara Sofia Gasson for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madsen, I'm sorry, for Nora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. Who do you got for this one?
I'm gonna pick Nora. That's what I'm gonna pick. What was her name again?
Mikey Madsen.
Yes, I'm gonna pick Mikey Madsen from Nora. because I want to get past this whole we got to give it to somebody just because they finally made it to this point in their career. I love Demi Moore. I'm a huge fan of hers. And Substance might be good. It might be great. I've seen it. The thing about it is that I don't know if her performance is, in my regard, as good as the couple of the other ones here on the list.
I love Demi. I don't think Demi should win. Mikey Madsen, I think Honora is kind of like to me, when I saw the film, it was kind of like, it reminded me a lot of Pretty Woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of iffy about it. Cynthia Erivo, I hope I'm saying her name correctly. People tell me she stole the show in Wicked. She was the best part of it. I haven't seen Wicked, so I really can't give my opinion on it. From the films I've seen, I guess I can go with Mickey Madsen.
Yeah.
That would be my pick. I love Demi Moore, but The Substance to me wasn't that great of a film. Although you could have not so great film and great performance. She was great in it. I also don't know if it was Oscar worthy. I do love the fact that Neon is getting a lot of nominations. Neon was also did the Long Lakes, the horror film.
Mm-hmm.
The studio's up and coming. And Makeup Wolf were about last night for Debbie. Yeah. The actress from I'm Still Here won a Globe this year. Yeah, you know what, Sam? I would say that usually means that they will win. But there was an actress that won every award until it came to the Oscar, and everybody said she should have won the Oscar, and she lost to fucking Emma Stone, which I will not forgive the Academy for having Lily Gladstone lose to Emma Stone. I'm sorry for that award. That still makes me angry. Because I hate when people are like, "Oh, well, she'll win again," and then if that's the case, she'll be nominated again. That's like the arguments now being made for Demi Moore, that Demi Moore should win because she's there. No, I think people should be there for the best role, and I think Lily Gladstone should have won last year. So usually they say it's usually the Spirit Award and the Golden Globes kind of tell you, but like after last year, I kind of don't trust them anymore. That's my rant for the Oscars.
I would have been pissed if they gave it to Joey Gladstone from Full House.
Oh, hey, man. Joey's struggling right now, man.
He is.
He's
All right.
struggling.
Dave Coulier. Did you know that Dave Coulier and Dana Carvey auditioned the same exact week for SNL? And that's who they had to decide between, and they gave it to Dana Carvey?
Good choice.
Well, could you imagine, Dave Coulier, though? I mean,
No.
doing a bunch of different stuff. See, that's the thing.
No.
You can't.
I hated Full House.
Oh,
I hated Uncle Joey.
What?
I did not like Full House as a kid. I thought it was a horrible show. I used to make fun of it. There was
I could just see you going around with a Jesse and the Ripper's haircut, a leather jacket in high school.
No, definitely not me. No way. Jesse and the Rippers. Uncle Jesse was probably the coolest part. Bob Saget, I always thought was funny because after I watched a couple episodes, I learned about his comedy, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
But
real clean comedy.
Joey Gladstone, I just didn't like cut it out. I'm like, shut up, Joey. I hated that. DJ irritated me. Stephanie irritated me.
Does it irritate you now that when you? I tell this to Katie all the time when you listen to the song, because did you know that song by Alanis Morissette? You
all know.
But
she
now every time I listen to it, the only time I'm listening to it because she's like seeing all this intimate stuff. I'm just thinking of him on the couch going like this to her. Cut it out. Cut it out, Joe. We were trying to get intimate here.
I don't know. But I wish him full health. I just didn't like Full House. There was a game called Full House Tournament Fighter, and
really?
Uncle Joey fights against Jesse in the demo for it. You can look it up on YouTube. It's pretty funny.
Interesting.
He does the well, blow me down. That's one of his moves, and Jesse kills him with a guitar in a song, which I thought was hilarious. But I'm going with Mickey Madsen along with you for the Best Actress award. Some reports I read that the person that should win this is Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. should have been nominated. I see Carrie Coon for The Three Daughters. I also saw Marianne Jean Baptiste for Hard Truths and Zendaya for Challengers,
Mm,
which I thought was pretty interesting. I also heard Pamela Anderson should have been nominated,
mm.
which I was like, oh, but I think it's kind of weird that you wanted Zendaya to be nominated where she gets tag teamed by two guys on tennis.
Well, I
But
think to rewind back a second again, is I'm pretty sure that the director of Challengers is like he won the Academy Award before.
oh,
So sometimes that's when they want to what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, it's directed by the guy who did the whole movie that got Timothy Chalamet on the map. What was it called? Here, I'm getting it. Blah, 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 blah,
uh,
blah. Call Me by Your Name. It was called
uh,
with Army Hammer, and they were like, it was 2017. It won best something, but he won. He was nominated, and usually when you get nominated, you want to keep getting nominated. His newest movie that didn't get nominated, that I guess was really upsetting, was Daniel Craig was in it,
mhm.
and he was directing it. But again, I think I'm gonna go with Mikey Madsen. I'm sorry.
Michael Betts. Uh, Sam says Pam was nominated at the Globe, so it was odd. Yep. I am looking forward to Conan as the host. I love Conan.
Conan's amazing.
Conan's the man. I love Coco.
Yes.
Rounding out the Actors Award, we're going to the Best Actor Award. Here are the nominees: Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown. I said his name correctly. Yeah. Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. Here, I'm going to say for this film, I really want Ralph Fiennes to win. Really want him to win for Conclave. I thought he was excellent in that film, but I will not get upset if Adrian Brody wins. What about you?
I would say pretty much the same thing. The movie that really put Adrian Brody on the map for me, I don't know if you've ever sat down and watched The Pianist.
Yeah.
It's a really awesome actually movie. Before I seen it, I didn't think it was gonna be as mind-blowing or as intimate as it was. I thought it was just gonna be about a man sitting there playing the piano. But it's really, this movie is 'cause I mean the title, The Pianist. You know what?
Yeah, but you think it's about a guy just sitting there playing the piano?
Well, there's this movie with Harvey Keitel and Holly Hunter. It's called The Piano. It's like in the early 90s, and there's just a piano. It's just real boring. I didn't think it was going to be like a deep mental, and that's really makes you think. And that's what The Brutalist is. It's almost like, to me, like this very, very even more deeper meaning thing than The Pianist was. So I always have liked Adrian Brody. So he could
Yeah.
get it. Ralph
Is it
Fiennes does a great job though too in
Yeah.
Conclave. I
Adrian
haven't
Brody.
seen, I haven't seen The Apprentice yet, but you know, all I've heard is that certain people don't like it a whole lot. So maybe that's why I will like it, because the people who it's about don't like it. So like
Yeah.
that's the thing. He tried to sue to get it stopped. So like this movie is a total expose of the
I am
negative side of all.
I
But Sebastian Stan is a great actor. It's just
definitely.
curious. It's curious though, again, why we talked about this before. I kind of went on the rant why Jesse Eisenberg maybe isn't nominated as opposed to him, because it wasn't like The Apprentice got really many plays of people seeing it. Not saying his performance is bad, but I think Jesse Eisenberg should have been nominated here.
I think it was not. He was nominated because of what's happening with the politically. I think
Well,
they had something to do. No, I'm saying I think that's why The Apprentice got it.
well, you mean he's not because the political environment didn't want this movie to be released. So you mean
No,
they
I
did
just think that sometimes I think the Oscars, some of the nominations can go what's gonna get more play in terms of people talking.
I don't know about that in this
That
case.
I don't know.
Not in this case, because all the background on this movie was It was,
Because
first of all, wasn't that. So the Oscars, the only reason they would do it would be to irritate the president. That would be the only reason to
well,
do it.
no, just to have the talk, not even to irritate or make him happy, just to have more like people, more of the conversation. Okay, his movie's up, because I'm reading from what I read.
Give me an
Sebastian Stan,
example of the past when they've done something like that, though.
when they had Halle Berry win for Monsters Ball.
Yeah, but Halle Berry deserved to win for Monsters Ball. She did pretty good in that movie.
Hmm.
I mean, I mean, the fact is again, a lot of movies, especially in today's, like Timothy Chalamet. I mean, I think he did a fine job, but I'm going to say something right now, and you're really going to maybe get upset. Where was Val Kilmer's nomination for Jim Morrison in The Doors?
Oh
Because to
God.
me, that performance was better than Timothy Chalamet's. I mean, he sounded like Morrison and acted a lot more like Morrison. You might not like the movie, but Chalamet sounded like, I mean, I like a lot of Dylan, but that's the opinions. That's why I love talking about this.
Well, I think Val should have been nominated for Tombstone.
Well,
I really do. I
Val should
seriously
be
do.
nominated for Iceman. Val should have been nominated for Top Secret, Real Genius, all of them.
No, but Tombstone was probably like one of his best roles.
Yeah, but again, back in that time period, they didn't nominate anything for Tombstone, did they?
No, they didn't even nominate Chaz Palminteri for Bronx Tale or Robert De Niro for Bronx Tale.
Again, that time period, I remember there was. I mean, what was out that year instead of that? I mean, that's what a different conversation for a different time. But I think back to the original thing of what you said is that those two are the ones that are going to be nothing to take away. We didn't mention Coleman Domingo. He's a good actor too.
No, but the reason I say this is because from what I was reading, even just going through some of the expert picks, Sebastian Stan was in another movie called A Different Man, and from what I've heard, they say his performance in there is 10 times better than The Apprentice, which is why I wonder how come that film wasn't nominated over
Oh,
The
I watched that
Apprentice.
movie. I don't want to get to that.
You didn't like it?
I love Out There. It's just really, 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 really. It's on HBO Max if you get a chance. It's almost like a different version of Birdman. It's
Oh.
not like a movie. It's more of like this extra trench. Like it's not really like a moving dialogue. It's more of but his performances. I could admit he probably should have been nominated before this one. I would agree because it's with an actor. Okay, when you're putting a performance out there, it's supposed to be like you're doing it. You're putting it all on the line. That's what a best actor is supposed to be. So, like, okay, Ralph Fiennes, he's playing somebody in, the Catholic, where the Pope is, Sebastian Stan playing Donald Trump. I mean, I don't know if that's really something that I think. And you could be right then, maybe, because A Different Man would be something that screams more Oscar than him playing Donald Trump.
That's just what I was been reading. Sam says he was nominated at the Golden Globes for A Different Man, so this is odd again. Yeah, the nominations are really odd. But I think so you would agree with me that Fiennes or Brody would be good for you.
Yeah. But again, I wouldn't be upset if somebody new like Coleman Domingo won. I mean, he is a good actor. But those first two that we mentioned, I think, are the favorites, which I believe. I was hearing something like once. I mean, Conclave might almost sweep this. You just don't know. All it takes is a movie to start winning, and then it wins them all. So we'll see.
Moving on to Best Director, we have nominees are Jacques Ayudillard for Emilia Perez, Sean Baker for Nora, Brady Colbert for The Brutalist, Caroline Fargret for The Substance, and James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. Who do you got for this one?
Well, based on just the movies that I'll do what I just said. I hated with the Demi Moore thing. I want to give it to James Mangold because he's got so many other cool movies. He should win it for this one. Um, Even though it's probably the movie out of all of them that I probably think he he did a good job directing it. I
Yeah,
don't know. There's been a lot of complaints about the Brutalist that they used AI in the dialogue. I don't know if you've read any of those
yeah.
articles.
We talked about it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so films that should have been nominated, and I agree with this. Robert Eggers for Nosferatu, Mohammed Rasulullah for The Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys are some films that should have been nominated. I think Eggers should have been nominated in here, but looking at it, I can see why he wasn't because these are all the top films of the year. I'm going with Brady Corbett for my win. Although a lot of people are picking Sean Baker for Nora to win this. Uh, Sam agrees with me. He says the Brutalist guy probably will win. I would think Brady Corbett should win because I like the style of his film. But it wouldn't make me mad if any of these people won, to be honest with you.
Go back and if you haven't, or it's been a long time, go back and watch the movie Funny Things with Tim Roth.
Mhm.
Brady Corbett plays one of the gentlemen who are terrorizing the family. It's a good watch to see an actor then watch him come all the way on Oscar night to direct this huge movie, which is honestly The Brutalist is one of the longest movies that
Yeah,
I've
it's a
ever
long one.
seen. And it's very, very, very long. It's good to watch it like in parts, like a book.
Mhm.
Or because I don't know, I just can't 4 hours sitting there is a quite a long time. But I think he's gonna win.
Yeah, he
Or
also
the
was
I think he just is. Yeah.
in this film called Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene. Have you ever seen
Oh yeah.
this?
Oh yeah.
I
With
first
what's
time I
his
saw it, I was working in that field, and there were some like things that I was like, this doesn't seem, from what I was dealing with in terms of real people, you know. But now I we watched it a couple times, and I can respect that film in terms of
watch one again. It's been a while since I seen
was
that.
trying to just and I've grown to actually like it. He plays Watts in that film. Um, it's a film about a cult, uh, which Elizabeth Olsen showing off that she's the best actress of the Olsen crew.
Yeah, she's a great actress, actually. She's really good.
Yeah, um, but yeah, I like I said, I think Brady Corbett wins, but I wouldn't be upset if any of the other people won the award. And then finally, my friend, we are going to Best Picture here. So for Best Picture, the nominees are Honora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. I'm gonna go out and say I want Conclave to win.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one that I want to win the most, out of all these. But again, Anora or The Brutalist, I gotta see Anora again. It was kinda like
Yeah,
on in the
Honora's like
background when I
everybody's
was
favorite
watching
right
it.
now. Honora's everybody's
That
favorite to win.
wasn't Emilia Perez the one that's been getting a lot of backlash because of the actress in the movie?
Yes.
Which I don't even know any of that story. I just all I keep saying is backlash, 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 which is a shame when one backlash ruins it for everybody else. Um, I always love this is my humorous thing is because we've talked about a lot of these movies, we've mentioned them all, and then Dune 2.
Yeah,
So
I was
Dune
gonna say
2.
that. Like, I know people are like,
Dune 2.
I did not like Dune 2. I thought it dragged too long.
Yeah, I mean it's
Great
yeah.
actors. I just thought it dragged. But this is kind of cool tone. Here's some people. This is from Variety. Some people that should have been some movies that should have been nominated are Memoir of a Snail, Daughters, uh, and The Wild Robot. I
Wild
like The Wild
Robot.
Robot. We watched it. It was actually a good film. We watched
You
it.
liked it, right? See? Wasn't bad.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Conclave. I thought it was a powerful film. Honora, like only thing that gets me for Honora is that it's kind of like I said, I got a lot of similarities to Pretty in Pink, Pretty Woman. Still a good film.
It'd be funny if it was Pretty in Pink.
Yeah. But which is kind of funny because Molly Ringwald was actually up for the Pretty Woman role, and she turned it down. Uh, but like if Dune or The Substance win, I'm like,
Conclave is just a really good movie.
yeah.
There's a lot of good actors in there. Stanley Tucci, I mean, he does a great job.
Tucci.
He does a really I like the interactions. I like the script. And here's a movie where I was like, I mean, I just put it on. I didn't, but it was actually really good. It's one that I was like, I could have saw this one in the theater and thought it was really good.
Yeah. I don't know. Sam says that Deadpool and Wolverine were snubbed. Damn it. They should have gotten nominated for something. I enjoyed that movie a lot. Jen actually enjoyed it too, which is surprising considering it's a Marvel movie. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. But those are our Oscar predictions. Let us know what you think over at the show podcast on X, Twitter, whatever the hell he calls it. Be sure to check out the Hookup on Music on Twitter as well. Tone, to close out the show, we're going to talk about one of the greats, man. If you haven't heard, unfortunately, at the age of 95 years old, the great Gene Hackman passed away along with his wife, Betsy Arakawa, and their dog, actually. They're found deceased this Wednesday at their home, which is very, very sad to hear. He lived a full life of 95 years old. Just one of the greats, man. One of the great actors of all time. A person that could play both comedy and, serious drama roles. A person that, when I saw him on film, I automatically recognized him and pretty much liked every role he did, except Heartbreakers. I thought the movie was pretty bad. But,
oh, my mom would be so mad at you.
I know you would. I know. Just to give a, the reach this person had, in terms of, his reach on the industry. People such as Francis Ford Coppola came out and said that the loss is the loss of a great artist. For Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman, a great actor, inspiring and magnificent in his work and complexity. I mourn his loss and celebrate his existence and contribution. Was what Francis Ford Coppola came out and said. Gwyneth Paltrow, who starred as his daughter in Wes Anderson's The Royal Tenenbaums, shared a picture of the two who play along with Luke Wilson and their roles, and she just put a broken heart. Tom Hanks came out and said there has only been Gene Hackman, and there's never been a Gene Hackman type. So basically saying he's one of a kind. Clint Eastwood came out and said that there's no finer actor than Gene. Intense and instinctive, never a false note. He was also a dear friend whom I will miss very, very much. Danny Glover came out and said, I appreciate his dedication and learn a great deal from him. Hackman was one of the great actors, man. He's, like I said, in comedies, in dramas. What are some of your favorite Hackman films?
I was thinking of a whole bunch of Hackman films, and one of them that honestly I forgot about, a comedy that I think he's just amazing in, is Get Shorty. I think he does a great job in Get Shorty. He really hams it up to a amazing effect for an actor who is in such serious movies to great effect, like Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation, where he's quiet and subdued. But then you watch him, which one of my wife's favorite movies of him in is The Birdcage.
Yes.
Where when he has to sneak down at the end and go through the club, and he dresses up, and then he's like doing the dance through the club or whatever, and you say to yourself, like, how awesome to imagine, Gene Hackman, going for it in that role, because again, this is what I was talking about earlier about actors. You're putting yourself out there. I know one of your favorite movies is The Unforgiven. His role in that is amazing. One that I want to watch this weekend, if I can carve out some time, is The Quick and the Dead. He's good in that. He's got just a lot of movies. And my big question always is this, is that there are, I could argue this point. I mean, I don't know how far I would get, but I could take him and I could put him against a Pacino, and I think I could win a lot of arguments that Hackman could be just as good or a better actor than Pacino. You know, Pacino might have gotten better roles, but Hackman is really awesome, as stated in that quote, because there is only one of him. With Pacino, you always go De Niro. With Hackman, you don't have to go anybody else because it's just Hackman. It's like, you know what I mean? He's in a category of his own, kind of like, you know, Dustin Hoffman's another great actor like that. Dustin Hoffman could be better than those other actors that I mentioned. You know, these guys are really good. The thing about Hackman is that, you know, a lot of good roles, you know, and that's what makes, I mean, when you could say you could be in something like Superman, and then you could switch it up and then be in something, as you just mentioned, like Heartbreakers. You know what I mean? Like it's different. One of my favorite roles of all time is The French Connection. I still remember buying the DVD because it's like in this awkward gray, like double box. And it's like, oh, it was like some kind of like 4K collection or something back in the day. And it was got one of the greatest car chase scenes ever, but his dialogue is dirty and it's great. And he's just an awesome actor. But back to just the last couple of years, had you had seen some of the photos that they had dropped of him within the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, he looked old, but he's 95. He's in his 90s, so he
So that
retired from acting. So
so when the news came out, it's not like it's just sad. You know what I mean? It's sad because it came out today that 9 days had gone by until they found Gene.
well, I think it's strange too that his wife passed. So I don't know the whole.
Well,
They're
his
still
wife was
investigating.
only 53, so Gene is 90 something. So I'm not making any conclusions here, but I can make some conclusions. I just don't want to
Yeah,
say them out loud.
I don't know what the details are gonna come out about it. So I don't know.
Like the dog, unfortunately, was in the closet.
Yeah,
You know, just a lot of weird things going
pill
down.
bottles
But
all over. So we don't know. It's just unfortunate, you know. If there's something was some there was foul play, it sucks.
well, I
Um,
used to think all the time of all these actors, the Pacinos, the De Niros, like what is going to happen one day when the news comes out when they're not here anymore? And this is like another one of the first ones. I mean, there's been a lot, but this is one who's, as you stated, he lived a full life. It's just a shame that this is how the story kind of ends. But
mhm.
I mean, even his final movie, which isn't the best, he does pretty well and hams it up pretty well with Ray Romano and Welcome to Mooseport. It's not a great movie by any stretch, but Hackman stopped right there, and I think it was a great time to stop because, you know, he didn't get into the righteous kill territory, where he was putting out clunker after clunker. I mean, I remember going to River Oaks and seeing Crimson Tide in 7th grade. I mean, that's an awesome movie. Back to Denzel. You know what I mean? Like, he was in movies with some of the best too. He's in a movie in 77 with Pacino called Scarecrow. He's in Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty. He worked with really just kind of the best. And that's the whole thing that kind of stinks about the ending, is that, you know, at the very least, that's not how he should have went out. But
Yeah, the whole story, like Sam says, the whole story surrounding his passing is concerning and sad. When I was looking through Gene's movies, you know, um, this is the first episode that I didn't have any notes on. We decided to try it to see how it went. Um, but I did look at Gene's movies, and it surprised me how many of his movies that I like so much. You know, and it's just crazy. Like you said, Unforgiven is my favorite film of all time. But you have Mississippi Burning.
great
That
movie.
movie is a powerful film. He was excellent in that film. His role, he was nominated for an Oscar in that film.
I mean, he's got one of the best slaps in any movie
Oh
history.
yeah.
Of that movie. That slap is so loud.
He was in The Firm.
Great
You
movie.
know, that another film that I think of him in. Who of course everybody associates him with Hoosiers. Uh, Although I that's Hoosiers, I think it to me is a little bit, as I say, overrated, but I mean it's still a good film. Popeye Doyle as in the French Connection. He of course Lex Luthor is super as in Superman. Those two films. Crimson Tide. That's another film that I think of him in. The Quick and the Dead. Ants. He was in Ants. People forget. The Replacements. Another film that me and my brother love. The Royal Tenenbaums, which is one of his later films. Before he retired. Just an excellent, excellent actor. And like Katie, I love The Birdcage, a film that couldn't be made today um, without some changing to the cast, but I thought it was hilarious. It's based off a play. Um, him playing the straight conservative senator, and then, like I said, at the end of the film, he dresses up in drag to escape the press and says, "Nobody will dance with me. Please dance with me. I don't want to be the only girl not dancing." And Albert comes up to him, and Nathan Lane comes up and dances with him. Will always make me laugh. He was just one of those actors that when you see him, you know the film is going to be enjoyable. Uh, just a great, great artist, and it's truly, truly sad that we lost him.
See, right even there, I would have totally forgot. Great in The Replacements. Excellent in The Replacements. If you're looking for an awesome deep cut, 1975, he does this movie called Night Moves. He's a detective. It's a noir movie, really great. But to me, this will be my favorite memory of Gene at the movie theaters is when it was like 6 or 7 of us, and honestly, I never laughed so hard between the interaction of him and Danny Glover in Royal Tenenbaums. And that movie's great, and it's my favorite Wes Anderson movie, and Gene Hackman is the reason. I mean, he's the glue that holds that movie together. Just like in The Replacements. I mean, we've talked about Keanu earlier, but Gene's Gene, man. It's just so cool that he was able to work on all these movies.
Yeah, man. Another film, Absolute Power. He was in Enemy of the
Right?
State.
Directed by, and in the
Uh-huh.
picture that they had on the TV yesterday, I had forgot that he was in Unforgiven with Clint, but then Clint directed him in Absolute Power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Another great one. I don't
Well,
know.
he Clint directed Unforgiven too.
Well, yeah, I mean, but Clint isn't in Absolute Power, so it means that
Yeah, cameo in
when
Young
you're
Frankenstein.
willing,
He
when
was
you're willing to
the
start
blind man,
looking,
right? In Young Frankenstein, I think he was a blind man. I think.
yep.
Um, just
Him,
a
if
okay.
you've never seen with Kevin Costner, it's called No Way Out, a great late 80s spy thriller. I mean, in every type of movie, man.
Yeah, he has a lot of films that are like watchable. Like some actors who are around for a long time, they have those films, and this is anybody, they have a lot of films that are great, and then they have some like you just mentioned De Niro, Pacino, who have those clunkers. He does have some films that are not the best films, but most of his films, I would say 80% of his films are very, very enjoyable.
All right, all right. I never do this. Please, please, everyone out there, you young, please, Sam, everyone. If you get an opportunity, watch the movie. Sam Rockwell's in it too. It's called Heist. He is amazing. The movie is awesome. We've talked about the score with De Niro. This came out the same exact year as the score, and this movie could be better than the score. It's awesome. Check it out. Delroy Lindau's in it.
Ooh, I will check that out.
Please.
Sam says Wes Anderson said he didn't really learn how to direct until he worked with Hackman, and that's true, Sam. I actually saw an interview with Bill Murray when he was talking about Gene Hackman passing, and he said Gene was very difficult with Wes because Gene is he's true thespian. Things have to be done. He even says Gene Hackman even said himself he has a little trouble with directors because he has an issue with authority. That's his thing. That's one of his direct quotes, and that's why he wasn't a good Marine. He says, but Wes learned a lot from him, and Bill Murray said he was kind of that go between them, that buffer to help build that relationship. And I can't imagine him not in the Royal Tenenbaums.
No.
Like he's so great in that film. Just some more Gene Hackman a little bit more about his career. He was nominated for 5 Oscars. Bonnie and Clyde, 1967. 1970, he got I Never Sang for My Father. 1971 for The French Connection, which he won. 1988, he for Mississippi Burning, actor in a leading role, and 1992 for supporting actor, in which he won for Unforgiven. He also was nominated for, I believe, 10 Golden Globes, 8 Golden Globes he was nominated for, and he won 3. Um, his films have grossed a lots of money. In a supporting role, his films have grossed worldwide $1.2 billion, and as a leading man, his films have grossed $866 million. Now you gotta remember, like, Gene Hackman was a star before the mega blockbuster films. So his films that were making money were blockbusters films. But he was a star, but when there wasn't like the over the billion market ones. But his films still made, very, 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 very good um
Gross.
gross. Yes. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart there. Very, very good gross. I believe altogether, I think he is over $3.2 billion in all his 64 films. That's technical credits, acting, lead ensemble member, and unclassified. Uh, just a treasure of a actor. I love this quote from him, and we can end the pod on this, and or this section of Gene. He said, "If you look at yourself as a star, you've already lost something in the portrayal of any human being." And that's pretty much the person he was. So rest in peace, Gene Hackman. We gotta do a deep dive on him, Tom.
We will. We'll do a definite 5 and 5 because there's just so much to go through with him, and that is awesome. And I've already heard that they are planning something special for the show Sunday for him, so I'm excited to see what they got planned. It's going to be pretty good stuff. So everyone, can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, so I am looking forward to that. It's kind of unfortunate, but I do like the presentation of those stars that we lost. I think they do a really, really excellent job at the Oscars. But with that is our show for tonight, Tone. Let everybody, you know what? I can play it. We can go into what is going to come soon to let everybody know what's coming soon, Tone.
All right, let's do it.
So let's find that little graphic here, and we'll do.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Coming soon.
Próximamente.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
So what's coming soon, my guy?
What we got coming up is finally we are bringing it to you, the Harrison Ford 5 and 5 next Friday. We got it for you, and it's going to be great. Just like Gene Hackman, we're going to be busting out 5 and 5 of some of our most favorite deep cuts of Harrison Ford since he's decided to play Red Hulk and smash the box office records. No, that hasn't happened yet, but these movies are going to smash your next Friday night with amazingness.
Yeah. So we'll be back Friday night. And then going forward, we'll do another deep dive, or we might do 5 and 5. We'll see. But I do want to have some guests on. I know Tony, you do too. So we'll have some more guests coming soon. Some you know, some you might not know. So really, really looking forward to getting back into the swing of things. We are going into Sam Reese 7 Star Wars: The Fugitive, Raiders, Morning Glory. We were really looking forward.
Morning Glory was
movies.
the first movie me and Katie went to the movie theaters and saw together.
Aw.
I know, ain't it? I actually like that movie.
Aw. That's cool. I
also want to tell you, Katie loves saying now every time I do something, she does your wow, wowie, wow. She loves saying that now because of
Christopher Walken, bro. He listened to Saw. The first movie me and Jen saw was Men in Black 3 because she wanted to go see it.
Oh, okay.
At the Regal. Yeah, but really looking forward to talking movies again, being back in the swing of things. God, hoping that my internet and your internet and our stuff doesn't go out. We will be back weekly. Baseball season is around, so you will catch us at the ballpark as well. We'll probably change the times probably on Fridays for the baseball season. If there's games on Friday, so we'll work something out. So we'll let you guys know what is going on. Be sure to check out It's Getting Drafty in here. He just did a draft for, I believe, 1985, was it?
Yes.
1985 with Mr. Hand. He also had Fitz and Mail. Thank you, Sam. We appreciate all your support. Also, Tone, tell everybody what's going on in the Hook Up on Music, man.
We are coming back tomorrow with a brand new show. We also took a little bit of a break, refueled, but now we are ready to power trip through the rest of the year with some really good stuff. Been a lot of really awesome things that have been dropping lately. Some really good performances. There was SNL 50 bunch of performances that happened this past Friday. We're going to talk about. We got some new music we're going to talk about. So check that out.
Yeah, be sure to check that out. You can follow me over at Blue Sky. I am no longer on Twitter, so I just deactivated my Twitter account at lilyumper.bsky.social. I don't post as often there, but I do post. But yeah, you just need to hit me up and talk some movies there and stuff like that. Tony's also on Blue Sky. Tony, what's your
I am the Chalza, I believe. Chalza. Chalza, yes.
Yeah.
The Chalza. I am the
He's the original Chalza.
I don't post very much, but you could find me there. And you could also always find me on Hook Up on Music, on X. But again, we're finding new ways and different ways to connect. And that's what we're going to continue to keep doing.
Yes, sir. The After Show Pod on Twitter, Statistic Penguin Studios on Twitters. And just check us out in the YouTubes, man. Go back and look at the archives. We got some fun things coming up. We got our segments coming back. So we'll be in full swing again. This is season 5, episode 5, I believe. So we're getting very, very close to the 100th episode. We got to plan something out for that one, Tone. I think we have some ideas for that. But be sure to check us out. Check out our pods. Thank you again for watching. Thank you again for listening.
I got Michael Bean. He's for our 100. No, I'm just kidding. You never know.
Michael Bean. I want to have a great shout out to Michael Cotton of the Bleacher Bums pod. He Bleacher Bum brand, I think it's called. He actually invited me to go on the show yesterday, but unfortunately because of work I couldn't. But he did shout us out saying that he had his episode was over 2 hours. Cotton, we let you down. We only got an hour and 48 out of this one, but we'll make sure we go over 2 hours next time. But with that, everyone, you guys have a great night, and we will be back next week.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to the At the Show podcast, a Sadistic Penguin Studios production.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?